Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. So great to be with all of you today. It is Friday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Jesus. It is Friday. We have Annie producing the show. We are live on Rumble, live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, every podcast platform you can ever imagine. And OMG, the numbers on the podcast are blowing my mind right now, guys. I am working with an amazing company called Radcast, and you're going to meet the CEO of Radcast. They're helping me promote and platform the audio version of the Shannon Joy Show. And we've been working with them now for the past 7 days. 2,465,302 downloads of the Shannon Joy Show in 7 days. It is absolutely blowing my mind. The numbers are amazing. The collaboration is amazing. I can't wait to introduce you guys to Ryan. And of course, podcasting, audio broadcasting, traditional radio broadcasting is my original love. As you guys know, I launched this show 12 years ago in a double wide trailer in a cornfield. It was AM terrestrial radio, tiny little radio station. And so I've been audio almost my entire career. We only platformed to video 2 years ago. And so the podcast aspect of the Shannon Joy Show has always been, it's been there, we've been available, but I really haven't tackled it and really tried to promote the show. And so now we are doing that. It is unbelievable. And we did it independently, which is the coolest thing. So thank you to all of the new podcast listeners. If you are listening via audio to the Shannon Joy Show, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the Shannon Joy Show. Give us a thumbs up, leave a 5-star rating, leave a quick note that helps us with those algorithms as well. And we're just barreling forward. There is a space out there for independent analysis of politics, not left, not right, understanding that both of these corrupt political parties work together to divide Americans and crush our liberty. And they do it over and over and over and over. This is why the Shannon Joy Show has not been platformed on your traditional conservative media outlets. This is why you've never seen me on Fox News or The Blaze or any of the bigger Con Inc. corporate messaging outlets, because I never towed the line. I was blackballed in 2015 because I didn't get on the Trump train. And I told my audience at the time, and have been very, very consistent with this, that, well, I'm from New York and Donald Trump is a New York liberal. And so if you want to vote for that, just understand what you're getting. A New York liberal Democrat. Well, that got me blackballed. And so we had to platform the show step by step, organically, like fighting. Yeah. Oh, really hot. All right. So we're a little bit hot right now. I'm going to lower the volume just a little bit. And so, yes, that forced us. That was Annie in my ear. We had to platform the show and do it organically. We had to do it independently, little by little by little. And so the fact that we're here is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And we're just going to continue to grow. You saw the headline, the title of today's show, Radical Independence. It is time for Americans to wake up to the UNIPARTY deception. Today, we are going to talk about the news of the day, the swearing in of Bobby Kennedy Jr. We have other news items to look at. DOGE is now going to turn its eye on the IRS and likely the Department of Education. They'll probably be in there this weekend with unfettered access to all of your tax information. That's great. So we're going to talk about that as well. But, you know, this is a moment, I think, it's so critical that people understand. In fact, I think it might be the most critical element in understanding politics today. It is the understanding and the knowledge of the fact that at the upper echelons, especially at the federal level, the two political parties work together. They work hand in hand, in tandem, swapping power every 4 years or maybe every 8 years, right? But growing their power and influence and making themselves rich on the process of dividing Americans. Isn't it just amazing, right? That the most controversial political position in the United States of America today is the one that rejects this two-party system, this two-party unibrow WWE wrestling fake-ass political system, right? That's me. And this is why you'll never see me on mainstream news media and you'll never see me on right-wing news media, because there's no place for this. There's no place for rational, common sense thinking about the way we want our country to run under a constitutional system, a constitutional republic, limited power, small federal government, robust local government that is connected closest to the people they govern, civil engagement, right? Free markets, bodily autonomy, the right to privacy, the right to pursue happiness in the country. Like, these are such basic concepts. Yet we can't have nice things in this country because we are absolutely abused by this political system. After observing and reporting on local, state, national, and global politics over the past 12 years, I am more convinced than ever that the leadership and control forces in both parties are working together seamlessly to divide Americans. To me, it is plain as day, but highly sophisticated messaging and propaganda, right? Fear, hope, propaganda deployed over decades has deceived so many Americans, leaving them locked in this abusive political system that grows more and more corrupt every day. An example today, Joe Biden authorized $500 million, $500 million to Moderna to produce mRNA vaccines for the bird flu. Okay, that was procured, or it was laid out by the Biden administration. Donald Trump today is writing the check, and they are in high-level discussions about rolling out a new bird flu mRNA vaccine. That's as being reported by Robert Malone. He's talking to people inside the administration, and they are sounding the alarm bells. Okay, so this is there's an example right there. Joe Biden authorizes the payment and the funds. Donald Trump takes office, says that he's going to break everything, but on the back end writes the check to Moderna. Multiply that times 1,000, right? DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Yesterday, Elon Musk and Donald Trump went to visit the Prime Minister of India. I didn't know that we had co-presidents, but apparently we do. Elon Musk, according to Naomi Wolf, really engaging in coup-like activities in terms of the power that he is amassing for himself. But he had a nice meeting with the Prime Minister of India, I guess conducting diplomacy, even though he is a government contractor, billionaire, and not a government official, but that's another story. And they tweet out this picture saying, oh my gosh, we had this great conversation, and, he really is embracing my philosophy of governing maximal governance, right? So they want to make government more efficient, but they want to maximize governance, right? So he's a government maximalist, meaning big government. So they're getting rid of humans, replacing it with AI and surveillance and technology, but they're not going to take the boot off your neck. Okay, so this is another example of how they pursue the agendas of the previous administration. They just change the marketing and the messaging. This is critical. You will not understand politics if you don't understand this critical point. And sometimes people will give lip service to it. They'll mention the UNIPARTY, but they continue to go in and participate in this fake electoral system. And will say something like this: well, it's a UNIPARTY and they're all corrupt and they're all terrible, but we have to vote for the lesser of two evils. We'd rather have Trump than Biden. Aren't we glad we didn't have Kamala? Phew, dodged a bullet on that one. I used to accept that line of thinking, but I've come to reject it, namely because I have seen what has happened to robust grassroots movements that have a ton of success when you get your guy in office. They basically go to sleep and they shut up and they wait and they sit back and they don't say anything because they want access to the president or access to the party in power, or they want their particular bill passed. Maybe they want a government position. Maybe they want something from the incoming government and they think they have proximity to power. This totally cuts the balls off of any robust grassroots movement. And I saw it happen with medical freedom movement. Thank God RFK Jr. has been confirmed overwhelmingly, by the way, 51-47. We can now get back to the business of heavily scrutinizing and criticizing this incoming administration, because at this point, they are all in on the mRNA. They're all in on Starlink. They're all in on pharma. And unless we raise our voices and re-engage that medical freedom movement, and by the way, no, Maha, it's not about food. It's about the vaccines. Unless we do that, then they are going to have their way with us yet again. We've got to throw the bastards out. So this is the theme that I'm going to be taking for the next 12 to 18 months. We're going to be highly critical of this administration because they have an enormous amount of power. We're going to be highly critical of Elon Musk because he now apparently is the co-president of the United States of America and has an enormous amount of power. We're going to hold them accountable. And if they aren't accountable, then we're going to continue to work from the bottom up, grassroots level, local organization. That is where all the power is. And I have two amazing stories today. One, an announcement from the health department in the state of Louisiana. They are abandoning mass vaccination programs in the great state of Louisiana. Amen. Hallelujah. A great bill from the state of Texas that Daniel Horowitz put out that is putting in language that bans any entity or organization for whatever reason from forcing anyone to undergo a medical intervention, including vaccines. That's where the winning is, guys. We have to oppose the bastards in Washington, D.C., and we have to re-engage the grassroots of America, regular people, Democrats and Republicans who are sick of this game. So that's where this show is going to be. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch, but I think people like it because we are pushing out and growing at an exponential rate. So that's what we're going to discuss today. We're going to bring Annie in on the Shannon Joy Show a little bit later. We're going to have a Freestyle Friday, as you all know, loosely prepped, except I'm very prepped. I have a lot to talk about today. But I do want to engage with you guys on the live chat. You are amazing. I want to get some of your comments. And Annie is keeping an eye on the live chat as well. We have to thank our sponsors, of course, Colonial Metals Group, amazing sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show. I just bought... And I don't even say bought. I like to say I traded my cash for gold and silver. And I did that yesterday. Alan took care of me over at Colonial Metals Group. We had a great conversation. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Lots of moves in the metals markets. Everyone needs a metal strategy. Please consider Colonial Metals Group. They are amazing sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. And Paul Stone is going to come and meet all of you face to face at the Summit for Truth and Wellness on March 29th. Mark your calendars and get your tickets. This is going to be an amazing live in-person event with me, Naomi Wolf, Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, Mary Holland of Children's Health Defense. Aaron Day is going to be sitting on the Technocracy panel. Sasha Latapova coming to Rochester, New York for a day-long session with some of the most brilliant thinkers in the United States of America. And this is all in one room. We have been known to pack that room to 1,000 people or more. Fingers crossed we're going to get there, but you have to get your tickets now. Summitfortruth.com, summitfortruth.com. And if you want to learn about metals and just start your metal strategy with people who are amazing, no pressure. They'll just answer all your questions. colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. All right. So we are going to, I think I hit everything. Oh, also the satellite phone store, sat123.com/joy. They're amazing as well. You're going to hear from them. and PCM and Associates, Dom Polano, the original gangster, the very first ever sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, way back then in 2012, or no, 12 years ago in 2000. I think it was 2012 or 13 that I launched the show. And I pitched my crazy idea and he said, okay, I'll sponsor you. And that's how it all began. He's my financial advisor, PCM and Associates. For those of you who are in the markets, and a lot of you are, I'm still in the markets, even though I do have a gold strategy. If you want a financial advisor that you can trust, that I have trusted for decades, Don Polano of PCM and Associates. He also shares your values. So very important. PCMPolano.com. That's PCMPolano.com. And a little bit later in the show, I'll give you the 1-800 number. Okay, we laid a lot out in this first segment of the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to hit the news of the day. We're also going to bring Annie in at the end of the show, and we're going to have a little bit of fun to kick off the weekend. She has some videos. We're going to do a little bit of unscripted podcasting and broadcasting, and so she has some videos that we're going to take a look at, and then we'll cue you in on what is happening next week. I will be gone the entire week. It's winter break for the kiddos. And so we will be in Florida visiting my sister, but we have a great lineup of guest hosts that will be with you next week, Tuesday through the following Monday. So I will be doing a show on Monday next week. It will be my last live show. And then we have a great lineup of guests. So I will let you know who's going to be filling in. And oh yes, Penfield parents, shout out to my locals. I do a lot of local organizing here, right? I try to put my money where my mouth is, right? I tell you guys to get up, get out, organize locally. And so I organize locally. I've planted a ton of organizations, but the Penfield parents are on fire right now, taking it to their Board of Education for putting pornography in elementary schools. Libs of TikTok picked it up, and Elon Musk even retweeted the atrocities that we're seeing in elementary schools across the country. We dealt with it at our own school in Fairport, but Penfield parents are now organizing, and they're going to get that porn out of the school. So I want to give a huge shout out. This is where the action is, guys. This is where things get done. And so I want to give a huge congratulations to the Penfield parents, Penfield organizations for showing up at these school board meetings and not relenting. These board members are out of control. They need to take the porn out of the schools, and they need to do it now. And it is the hard work of these parents that are making this happen across the country. So kudos to those Penfield parents and those local organizers. Welcome to all the new Shannon Joy Show listeners via podcast. Super exciting. We're going to go to break. We'll be back in a minute to continue with the news of the day right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey, everyone. Let's talk about something that most people don't even think about. EMF protection. Everywhere we go, we are surrounded by electromagnetic fields, Wi-Fi, cell signals, and countless other sources. If you're like me, you want to protect yourself and your family, and that's where the Faraday beanie from sat123.com comes in. Yes, it's cute, it's sassy, but it's also an EMF blocking machine. Whether you're commuting, working, or just relaxing at home, the Faraday beanie gives you an added layer of defense against the invisible waves around us. And just like everything else at sat123.com, this beanie is made with quality and care by people who value your safety. Don't wait to take control of your well-being or your family's well-being. Go to sat123.com right now. Use that promo code JOY, J-O-Y, for an extra 10% off. They have great colors, great styles, and all of your Faraday needs. So the Faraday blankets, bags, pouches, and of course, the Escape Zone beanies, which I love, love, love. I wear this every single night. 10% off right now at sat123.com. That's sat123.com. Stay safe, stay stylish, stay warm with the Faraday beanie from sat123.com.
After a lifetime of hard work and smart investing, the last thing you want to worry about is losing your retirement savings. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals Group. We specialize in helping hardworking Americans like you take back control of their financial future safeguard their savings. In economic times like these, millions turn to physical precious metals as a form of insurance, while conventional investment choices face challenges or even collapse. If you have an IRA, 401k, or other type of retirement account, my team at Colonial Metals Group would like to help you build a financial protection plan outlining the most secure future for you. We've put together a free protection kit showing how you can start investing in precious metals 100% tax and penalty free to protect and grow your wealth. You can download it for free now by clicking the button below. Customers, we're very proud to say, across the country have been very impressed by my team's in-depth knowledge of financial history and their ability to listen to you. We hold the same conservative values you hold and on ones our great nation was built on, and we can't wait to start helping you and working with you. Again, just click the button below to download our retirement protection kit for free now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to hit some of the headlines today in this segment, but I want to hit the live chat first right here on Rumble. So thankful for our partnership with Rumble and all the work that they do to promote the Shannon Joy Show as well. Vidana, thank you so much. Shannon, congrats on your podcast downloads. Thank you so much, Vidana. It's really exciting to watch, and it's really exciting to know that we grew this show independently. It was you and me for 12 years. We never got platformed. We never got any help from conservative media or Con Inc. We never got help on that end, but we just diligently grew together. And for those of you who support the Shannon Joy Show with your independent contributions, $5 a month. I still have people who are sending $2.99 a month because I think that was the original when we first set up the Shannon Joy Show website and you guys came in. So we have listeners and viewers that have been with this show for 12 years, which is amazing. You guys were with me right at the beginning, and thank you so much, Vidana. I really, really appreciate that. Another live chatter, we have MAV 2022. Moderna never had a viable product until the scamdemic. They made a contract with the government in 2015, but never signed the contract until 2019. That is absolutely the truth, MAV 2022. Thank you for your comments. Another comment, the fact that there is a right and left media sums up the entire problem, right? Where is independent media, independent journalism, independent commentary? It is like a big black hole. There's no one there. There's no one filling that space. And that's where I hope to place the Shannon Joy Show, is right in that space. Common sense, conservatism, based on and according to my biblical faith, which guides everything, but just basic constitutionalism and small government, the way the founders and the framers conceived it. This idea that we have to give everything to AI, that massive surveillance is just a fait accompli, that it is inevitable, and we just have to engage in the arms race with China, become China in order to beat them in the AI race, is absurd. It's outrageous, and they're just using that to grow the military-industrial complex and the size and scope of government and massive surveillance, the massive surveillance state. That's what Elon wants. So most Americans don't want that. I'm just going to be honest. KB Smile is with us on the live chat. Marky Mark, New Jersey is with us on the live chat as well. Marky Mark, thank you so much for the $1 contribution. Do we really want this government morphing into a tyranny to become more efficient? I think not. I agree with you, Marky Mark. This idea that we're just going to grow, and this is the statement. I have it right here. I mentioned that it's so bizarre. This was not on my bingo card for 2025. The kind of co-dads, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are like two gay dads co-parenting. So we have like a co-presidency. They're always together. They went over to India and engaged in diplomacy with the Prime Minister of India, which I didn't know was on the Doge list of authorized powers, but okay. And this is what the Prime Minister tweeted out I mentioned it in the first segment. I'm not even going to try to say his name. Okay. Had a very good meeting with Elon Musk in Washington, D.C. Oh, he came to D.C. They didn't go to India. My bad. We discussed various issues, including those he is passionate about, such as space, mobility, technology, and innovation. I talked about India's efforts towards reform and furthering minimum government, maximum governance. And he agreed. Maximum governance, meaning they are making government more efficient, meaning they are going to make government a regular feature in your life. Constant surveillance, control of everything, artificial intelligence, automated systems. You don't get to see a human. The algorithm decides whether or not you get your welfare check or your Medicare check, or whether or not this prescription drug or procedure is approved or not approved, whether or not you're updated with your vaccines. Cameras everywhere, 15-minute cities on steroids. Imagine making policing more efficient. What if we didn't have police officers? What if we just had constant, total 24/7 surveillance of every American? They wouldn't need, right, to employ humans. They could just constantly surveil us. Like, this is literally what these lunatics are envisioning. They love it. They think it's great. They talk about it all the time. They don't hide this in any way, shape, or form. And the idea that conservatives and constitutionalists and anarchists and libertarians, small government people are bowing to Elon and telling me that I just have to get over it. My constitution is dead and you just got to take the dictator because the Democrats are so bad is outrageous. It's absurd. And I'm not going to do it. So great comment, Marky Mark. I appreciate you. Liberty is with us on the live chat as well. And you guys are sassy today. Don't be a homophobe, Shannon. Why? Because I called Donald and Elon two gay dads co-parenting, co-presidenting. I really was not expecting that, but that's really the sense that I'm getting. They're always together. And I actually think that Donald might be subservient to Elon, right? Because the imagery I'm getting and the optics, Elon is standing, Donald is sitting, Elon's in control. Elon has his way with our data every weekend. Like, he comes in and spends the weekend in bed with our personal private data. First, it was the Department of the Treasury. Now it's the IRS. They'll probably go in this weekend, and maybe next weekend he'll have our way with our children's data through the Department of Education. Can't make this up. No oversight. Tons of conflicts of interest. The guy is still running 6 corporations and getting $500 or $400 million checks from the federal government to purchase Teslas as a part of their sustainability initiative. Again, Biden initiated the check and Donald Biden initiated the funding and Donald wrote the check. This is the Uniparty. This is how they work together. And the massive amount of propaganda, the cult of personality propaganda surrounding Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump and even RFK Jr. is really strange. It's just bizarre. Lots of bots, lots of trolls, lots of memes with their heads superimposed on superhero bodies. Right? I can't even. It's bizarre. They are not Marvel superheroes, by the way. Don't send me the memes. Okay? It's weird. It's lame. I don't even know. But people just want their heroes. And that's why we're in the predicament that we are in, for sure. So let's talk about RFK. So you guys look great. The terrible Great Reset. Great to see you. You are brand new on the live chat. Love it. And you get it. This is the smartest, kindest, most helpful live chat ever in all of Rumble. I really appreciate all of you. You guys are great. And so when I see a new guest, I like to say hello. Who else do we have here? Buskman is with us as well. Good to see you. Ooh, Free Assange 01. Hey, Shannon. Good to see you, Free Assange. I'd love to. Ooh, Vicer1, love the logo. I know, that's from Annie. And Annie is going to be joining us in the next segment. We're going to do a little bit of freestyle before we close up the week and head into the weekend. Again, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine. I wore red today for Valentine's Day. Having dinner with devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy tonight. Can't wait. We're going to have a lot of fun. And yeah, so this is the big news. This is what I really want to get to today. Bobby Kennedy Jr., big news. He's easily confirmed, 51 to 47. I told you that was going to happen. We probably knew about 3 or 4 weeks ago that it was definitely going to happen. And this is a huge victory. I want to start there, okay? Because there are a lot of angles to this. And there's a lot out there right now. Robert Malone just tweeted this out. I mean, look at this headline. As bird flu becomes a growing threat, Moderna is awarded $590 million to develop mRNA pandemic influenza vaccines. That's happening right now. Trump administration. Who was it? Larry Ellison? I can't remember all the names of the people, but he said, for the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You remember that press conference with Donald Trump last week, where, one of the first initiatives of the Sovereign Wealth Fund that Donald Trump put in place via executive orders is to purchase billions and billions of mRNA vaccines. So they are broadcasting this to us. They are going to push the pedal to the metal, despite the fact that it is a new administration and it's Donald Trump. So Robert Malone just pushed this out. And this is the context of the confirmation of Bobby Kennedy Jr. yesterday. I was just told by a reliable source that there are serious discussions going on at the top level of the Trump administration about pushing mRNA vaccines for bird flu. He went on. Jerry Parker, DVM, apparently the new White House pandemic czar. So we have a pandemic czar. Why? Is a big Peter Hotez fan, many podcasts with him, wrote the foreword to one of his books. Wake up and smell the coffee, folks, said Dr. Robert Malone. Okay, this is happening. And unless we raise our voices, and I will tell you, the medical freedom community has been absolutely silent for the past 2 months, waiting and hoping for Bobby Kennedy Jr. to become appointed and confirmed at HHS. Now that he is, it is time to take the gloves off and really push our pedal to the metal. And so this starts now with Robert Kennedy Jr. being confirmed as the head of HHS, along with an accompanying executive order written by President Trump. I didn't read the whole thing. I skimmed it. No mention of vaccines. Okay, that's all you need to know about that. So let's start with, in terms of the analysis of this, because it's going to become very complex. And I am concerned that people are going to be very disappointed with what Bobby Kennedy is able to do as the head of HHS. It's an enormously powerful position. He controls the disbursement of all of the appropriated money. He controls the CDC, the FDA, the NIH, okay? The staffing in and of itself is enormous. Thousands upon thousands of people staffed within the apparatus of health and human services. It's an enormous amount of power. We have to scrutinize Bobby Kennedy Jr. very heavily. Now, before I get into that part of this, I do want to let you guys know that it is very true. There, I started reporting on vaccines, not COVID, but vaccines in general, the childhood schedule, because my children were vaccine injured. My children were forced to get vaccines, and the religious exemption was ripped away from my children in 2019. And so 26,000 children were thrown out of school. The coercive methods in New York State of forced vaccination of children it's unbelievable. Okay. My children were forced vaccinated. I was forced to vaccinate them against my will. It was horrifying, absolutely horrifying. This issue is very near to me. And I started organizing with other parents in 2015. And I can tell you, for the past 20 years, no one has paid attention to the cause of vaccine injured children, the devastation that wreaks on a family, on the parents who have lost children due to severe vaccine injury, all of the vaccines, not just COVID-19 vaccines, because they all have risk profiles. We were asking at that time simply for choice. That's it. All we wanted was the right to have bodily autonomy and the right as parents to decide for our children whether or not they were going to undergo a medical intervention. That's it. And we were labeled, maligned, demeaned, locked out, shut out by both Republicans and Democrats for years, decades. There was only one high-profile person who would stand with moms, and that was Bobby Kennedy Jr. for 20 years, diligently working, diligently organizing, building up the movements of Children's Health Defense, building up the platform of Highwire and Del Bigtree, helping them raise enough money to create ICANN, which is an amazing organization led by Aaron Siri, one of the best attorneys in the United States of America on the cause of compensating for vaccine injured and fighting for parents who do not want to be forced to submit their children for medical interventions and experimentation against their will. All right. They were there with the lockdowns in the dark days of COVID. They were at the forefront of opposition for the COVID-19 vaccines. Bobby Kennedy Jr. has been a voice for this movement for 20 years. And regardless of what he says as the head of HHS, which is now a different position, so I want people to understand what we're going to need to do in the next 12 to 18 months. Regardless of that, we have hours and hours and hours of testimony, video, interviews, arguments, debates with people like Alan Dershowitz, who said in that debate, yes, we have the government has the right to strap you down and shove a needle in your arm. That is the sentiment of the majority of the bureaucracy and the government in the United States of America, Democrat and Republican. This battle has been epic. The fact that Bobby Kennedy, the lead anti-vaxxer, that they would call him in this country, the most famous anti-vaxxer in the world, according to them, is now the head of HHS is a massive victory. It is a cultural victory. It is an optics victory. It is a messaging victory. It opens up the door for normies across the globe to question vaccines in and of itself. And this is a victory that it came at the hands of a grassroots, localized, organized movements of moms and dads and grandparents and attorneys and people just like me and people just like you, diligently over 20 years fighting this battle. It is basic. It is one of the most basic issues on the planet. Yet our federal government, Donald Trump, can't get this. Callie Means can't get this. Democrat leadership can't get this. Republican leadership can't get this. This is basic. This is a huge victory. And so I want to start there and preface with that. What Bobby Kennedy Jr. has done for this movement will never be undone, can never be erased, and should never be taken away from him. However, we'll start there, right? Is that enough? Is that long enough for you guys? Okay. However, as you all know, I am I'm not the kind of girl that gives away the milk for free, if you know what I mean. Okay. I am a show me the money, put a ring on it kind of gal. All right. I look for discernible policy outcome. I am not nice to politicians or bureaucrats or government people or oligarchs or corporatists who are suckling at the teat of the federal government and enjoying billions and billions and billions of taxpayer largesse in cushy government contracts and subsidies and tax write-offs, okay? People in position of power are not my friends, and I'm going to scrutinize them. And I don't care what they say. I don't care the razzle dazzle. Frankly, these executive orders are nice. There's a flurry of them, but there's no teeth to them. There hasn't been a single penny, by the way, of government cut in the whole flurry of executive orders. A lot of it is window dressing. It is a thin veneer. It is gilded, right? Because real cuts will never come. Real reform will never come unless it's authorized by Congress and happens through the congressional budgeting process. So there's a flurry of everything happening right now, but we're waiting. The same can be said for my position with Robert Kennedy Jr. We're going to be critical and we're going to scrutinize him. And I pushed this out on Twitter yesterday, and it pissed people off, right? Because they want to worship, they want to cry tears of joy. It's a very emotional thing for a lot of people. Politicians, your relationship with a politician should never be emotional. You shouldn't have feelings about politicians or bureaucrats or government people or oligarchs or corporatists, right? It should be entirely transactional. They're not our friends. We shouldn't love them. We shouldn't feel about them. We shouldn't be crying tears of joy over, this type of stuff. We need to be cold, hard calculators, right? That's all they understand. Listen, I've been observing politics for 12 years. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. All right. Having feelings doesn't work in politics. They don't have feelings for you. I guarantee you, they don't have feelings for you. You might think they do. They might say they love you, but there's no way that Donald Trump can actually love 360 million people. Like it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So we have to pivot now, understanding that Robert Kennedy Jr. in the capacity of the head of HHS is now a government official. And for my part, and I won't speak to others in the medical freedom community, I won't speak to others in the independent media space, but from my point of view, it is now time for me to scrutinize him heavily. I wanted him in this process to elevate the topic of vaccines, to elevate the issue of forced vaccination and medical mandates. It was necessary that he went through that process and organized, and I guess even joined the Trump campaign, even if I disagreed with many of the aspects of that. It was very important that this happened so that the topic would be elevated, and it worked. It happened. But now he has power and he needs to be scrutinized. And this is what I wrote. Robert Kennedy Jr. confirmed easily as HH secretary. This is good news. It's time for him to get serious. We have given him now a powerful platform and a mandate. We should expect him to deliver and hold him accountable if he does not. He now has the power. This is very important. Listen up, because this is the agenda that we need to be pursuing from my perspective, according to MAHA and the medical freedom movement and all of the people that you've heard from over the past 4 years. Everything that we've done, every bit of organization, mobilization, the refusal to comply, the pain that many have suffered through this process is now coming to this point. And these things need to get done. And if they don't get done in Washington, D.C., then we need to remove our support and retreat back to the local level and begin to work at the state level, the local level, and at the court level with lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. He now has the power to immediately reverse the former HHS director's proclamation establishing a COVID emergency use authorization and liability protection. This needs to happen on day one. We are still in a state of emergency. The government still has the authority to experiment on this population. The government still enjoys liability protection. That is because of a document signed by the former HHS executive. That needs to be reversed immediately. And unfortunately, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has already failed that test because he's been in office for a day and he has not reversed that. That is, he has all the authority in the world to do this. It is the signature. That's all you need. And he hasn't done it. That is a red flag and not a good signal as we move forward. I'm just trying to prepare you guys for where I think this is going. Okay, Sasha Latipova has written on this, and she was on my show a couple weeks ago explaining that if you reverse that HHS proclamation that ends the state of emergency and it ends the emergency use authorization that is used to deploy all the funding and to create the mRNA bird flu vaccines, to name a few. Next on the agenda, Robert Kennedy Jr. needs to pursue a federal ban on all medical mandates for any reason. And yes, I understand that would have to happen in Congress. That would have to have the signature of the president. But Bobby Kennedy Jr. has a powerful bully pulpit. And just because he can't unilaterally ban all medical mandates, he can use the bully pulpit to encourage Congress to act on that front. He can also delay or end payments out to local governments, local organizations, state health organizations, if they pursue vaccine mandates. So in a sense, there is, through rulemaking, and I mean, there are all kinds of mechanisms at his disposal to make it very difficult for states like New York to force little children to undergo vaccinations against the will of their parents. HHS has enormous power to make that really, really painful for the remaining holdout of states like New York and California. Okay, in and of itself, all mandates need to go away. The second thing we need to do is end pharma liability shields for vaccines, period. There are multiple mechanisms of liability shields for vaccine manufacturers. The first is the legislation that was signed by Ronald Reagan in the late 80s or early 90s. I always forget if it was the late 80s or early 90s, that established legal liability protection just for vaccine makers. That's why the production of vaccines have exploded, because they have no liability. If they kill you, they don't have to suffer any liability for that. If they kill your kid, if they debilitate you and injure you for the rest of your life with a botched vaccine, you're SOL. So that needs to go away. And then third, they need to pull the toxic mRNA shots from the market. They are dangerous. We are in the middle of a demo side. All of the messaging, all of the research, all of the data that we have compiled over the past 4 years, it is irrefutable. It's irrefutable. These vaccines are killing people. That's why most Americans are refusing to take them. And all they need is another emergency to start up again with the coercion. So that needs to happen. So we're thankful for everything that Bobby Kennedy has done up until now. He's already failed the test. He has not reversed the former HHS director's proclamation establishing the COVID emergency use authorization. That needs to happen. I'm not, 1986 LT Oracle of Truth. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. And so, yeah, I think that this is good news. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised, but we're going to keep an eye on all of this. We're going to keep an eye on RFK. And I'm actually very excited for the medical freedom movement to gear up again and to begin to activate great news coming out. And I'll take your comments in a minute. Lots of comments on the live chat. This is great news. This is from New Orleans, AP. Again, this is to my point of how important local we cannot sit back and wait for these people to save us. We've got to push the pedal to the metal. We have the mandate. We have the culture. The American people have spoken. They are not afraid of the vaccine topic. In fact, American people want to hear about vaccines now because we've elevated this issue. And we're seeing the fruits of our labor. From the New Orleans AP, the Louisiana Department of Health will no longer promote mass vaccination, according to a Thursday memo written by the state's top official and obtained by the Associated Press. This is the benefit of having the most well-known anti-vaxxer on the planet, Bobby Kennedy Jr., even if he's not talking about vaccines. Just having him in the position of the head of HHS is going to provide cover and shield and umbrella to state actions and local actions, taking apart some of these mass vaccination programs and vaccine campaigns. So a department spokesperson confirmed Louisiana Surgeon General Ralph Abraham had ordered his staff to stop engaging in media campaigns and community health fairs to encourage vaccinations, even as the state has experienced a surge of influenza. This is awesome. In a separate letter posted on the department's website, Louisiana Surgeon General decided blanket government mandates for vaccines and criticized the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention regarding COVID-19 vaccine push. They said individuals should make their own decisions about vaccinations, which is just so much common sense. We've been in this warped universe for 25 to 30 years where no one ever questioned vaccines at all. And ridiculously, we were told that all vaccines are safe for all people at all times, right? I mean, which is crazy. Nothing is safe for all people. People have allergies. People have different reactions to different ingredients. Like, it's absolutely absurd that we have been operating in this just haze of absolute lies. And so there's a state action that is probably directly a result of the optics victory of Bobby Kennedy Jr. being confirmed. This is from Daniel Horowitz. This is awesome as well. And when we come back, I'm going to take some of your comments on the live chat. We're going to bring Annie in, the producer, to close out the show and have a little fun in the last portion of the show, because I'm getting to everything I want to get to today. Daniel Horowitz posted this out. By the way, he is a must listen. This is a constitutional amendment on the state ballot in Texas, a joint resolution, right? Section 37. Kudos, by the way, to Texas State Representative Andy Hopper, who put this in or advocated to put this in. Section 37 of a joint resolution, HJR number 91, an individual has the unalienable and natural right to refuse a vaccination. Let's go. The vaccination status of an individual may not be made a condition of employment, travel, school, or other educational institutional attendance, conducting business, receiving governmental services, or any other action of the state. This is unbelievable. This language speaks to the gravitas of the issue. I have been telling you guys for over 10 years that vaccine mandates, medical mandates, are the number one human rights, natural rights issue of our time. If governments or organizations or corporations contracting with governments or affiliated with governments or even private organizations have the ability to force you down, as Alan Dershowitz said, and shove a needle into your arm against your will, we have no rights. The seizure of the human body by a government apparatus. It is the number one issue of our times. And this is why they fought it. This is why they've been fighting it for so long. This is why it's been buried under 17 layers of the most sophisticated propaganda and psychological operations I have ever seen in my life. It is why they bought off both political parties decades ago. It's why they bought off the left-wing news media and the right-wing news media. It's why no one was allowed to talk about this except for independent, truly independent voices like mine. They jumped the shark with COVID-19. They forced it too soon. And there were enough of us who resisted and refused to comply, creating the control group, creating a group of 35 to 40% of the American public who refused the COVID-19 vaccines. That sent a signal to the rest of the population, the culture, that something was wrong. And now the majority of Americans are questioning the childhood schedule. The majority of the Americans are refusing the COVID-19 vaccines. And Americans are supporting resolutions like this one, establishing the right to bodily autonomy, the right to refuse any medical intervention as a de facto human right, a natural right. This reads like it's a natural right, which is amazing. Kudos to you, Andy Hopper. We need this resolution to spread like wildfire across every state. We need to pitch this to our local legislators, our state legislators. We need to push the pedal to the metal. We can do all of that without Donald Trump, without Congress, and without Bobby Kennedy Jr. either, right? This is where we need to go. It's amazing news. All right. So there's good news and bad news, right? We're being betrayed, especially by the Trump administration with the push for the mRNA vaccines, and they're just going to dump more money into pharma. We have a little bit of hope with RFK Jr., but he's already failed a test because he's not getting rid of that emergency use authorization, but we can push him to do that. Let's continue to push him to do that. But we're having great news, thank God, at the local level. Let's continue to pursue that. All right, when we come back, when we CJP Rumble, what? Too much. When we get back, we're going to hit the live chat and I'm going to answer some of your questions and read some of your comments. And we're going to bring Annie into the Joy Virtual Studio for a little bit of freestyle. She has a couple of videos that I'm going to respond to, and we're going to take some of your comments, and we're just going to ease out of this Friday show into the weekend and have a little bit more discourse. What do you think about the nomination of Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the confirmation? Are you optimistic, pessimistic, waiting and seeing like me? How do you feel about it? We'll continue this conversation when we come back right here on the Shannon Joy Show.
After a lifetime of hard work and smart investing, the last thing you want to worry about is losing your retirement savings. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals Group. We specialize in helping hardworking Americans like you take back control of their financial future, safeguard their savings. In economic times like these, millions turn to physical precious metals as a form of insurance, while conventional investment choices face challenges or even collapse. If you have an IRA, 401k, or other type of retirement account, my team at Colonial Metals Group would like to help you build a financial protection plan outlining the most secure future for you. We've put together a free protection kit showing how you can start investing in precious metals 100% tax and penalty free to protect and grow your wealth. You can download it for free now by clicking the button below. Customers, we're very proud to say, across the country have been very impressed by my team's in-depth knowledge of financial history and their ability to listen to you. We hold the same conservative values you hold and ones our great nation was built on, and we can't wait to start helping you and working with you. Again, just click the button below to download our retirement protection kit for free now.
Hey everyone. So you know what is scarier than a storm or a blackout? Being completely cut off, alone, no phone, no internet, no way to reach anyone. This is why I trust sat123.com and their satellite phones to keep me connected no matter what. With a satellite phone from Sat123, it doesn't matter if you're out in the wilderness or caught in the middle of a disaster. This phone works when cell towers don't. It's the ultimate tool for staying in touch when everything else has failed. Here's the best part. Sat123.com is family owned, 100% committed to quality and reliability, and they believe in keeping you and your family safe wherever you are. Right now, if you go to sat123.com/joy, that is sat123.com/joy, and use the JOY promo code, JOY, for 10% off, you'll get 10% off your entire order, which is a phenomenal deal from an amazing company that supports the Shannon Joy Show. Be ready for anything. Stay connected with sat123.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Love the folks over at the satellite phone store. So this is their Escape Zone line of products. So here is my phone, and here is the Faraday pouch, one of the small Faraday pouches from Escape Zone. And all you do is put your phone in the pouch, and when you do that, you are essentially off the grid. And it's just one of the features. They have a whole line of Faraday bags and phones as we are approaching the surveillance state. Okay. Elon Musk hasn't met a surveillance initiative that he doesn't love, and he's our co-president. So we need to prepare for the idea. I just paid a $75 bill, by the way. I was photographed, unbeknownst to me, driving on the New York State Thruway about 2 months ago. And apparently there was a work person zone, and the speed limit went down from 65 to 55. And, I barreled through at around 62 miles an hour, I suppose. And they took a picture of me, clocked me, and then automatically sent me a fine for $75 because there was a camera right there. You guys all know about Manhattan too. I mean, it's under complete surveillance, cameras on every single corner. These 15-minute cities, Donald Trump's going to call them freedom cities. It's all about surveillance. And so more and more Americans are just sick of it. They want to be off the grid. They want to protect their devices. The Faraday technology also protects your devices from an EMP attack. So if the lights go out or there's an EMP attack, your devices will be protected. They also protect you from EMF, coming from your phone. So it's good for your health. It's good for your body. And of course, we do need Blade Runners here, Guitar Lily. See, that's the kind of organization I like. Have you ever seen the Blade Runners in London? They go around and they knock down all of the surveillance cameras. So there are 15-minute cities in London or areas, and the Blade Runners, there is hilarious video footage of the Blade Runners. They go and they just cut down the surveillance cameras, and then they put them in funny places like a baby carriage or on a seesaw, and they make all these videos. It's fantastic. They can't keep the surveillance cameras up, and so I actually love that. A little bit of civil disobedience, good, clean fun. But anyway, Escape Zone Faraday products are amazing. They have backpacks, over the shoulder pads. They have body bags, the small pouches, medium-sized pouches, and everything is 10% off with the promo code JOY. So go to sat123.com/joy, sat123.com/joy. All right, let's bring in our producer, Annie, for the last segment of the Shannon Joy Show on Valentine's Day. So thankful for Annie, and we're just going to kind of freestyle for the rest of the show. Hey, girl, how are you?
I should do that first. Hi, I'm glad it's Friday. I'll miss you over the weekend, but I'm glad it's Friday. I need some sleep.
I am absolutely ready for Friday. If you guys don't know Annie, she is the producer of the Shannon Joy Show. She makes the magic happen every single day. An absolute godsend. And everyone is super excited to see you, Annie.
Hi, everybody. I normally look down to make sure I see all your comments, but I'm trying to be respectful and look at the camera.
Oh, absolutely perfect. So Annie joined us a couple of weeks ago. Annie's also going to be with us on March 29th for the Summit for Truth and Wellness, producing the show along with X America News, a very fast growing new platform that is going to be a major player, I think, in the next year or so. And they're platforming the Shannon Joy Show as well. So this is amazing. They're production sponsors, and we're really thankful for you, Annie.
Well, we're very thankful that you have allowed us to stream your show. And the funny thing is, this whole thing is started from X, Twitter.
Right.
And it was named X America News. But then we gradually grew into, a lot of diverse mindset and opinion. And I'm very grateful that the owners are completely open to the idea. If you remember, the beginning was like, you were like, are you sure they're going to like my show? Because I talk a lot about Elon and Trump. I'm like, I don't know. But thankfully, they have realized, the owners behind this channel or network has realized people are tired of being in an echo chamber. So they're welcoming all opinions. I mean, all legit opinions, not cuckoo crazy opinions, of course. So we're very glad that we're growing fairly good, and so far X has not shadow ban or ban us at all. So knock on wood.
It's amazing. No, that's amazing, and we're really thrilled to partner up with you guys and grow with you. So the live chat is great. I know Annie's hair is your hair is absolutely gorgeous, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. And I'm looking at some of your comments here on the live chat. Rothen Walker is with us. Mav 2022 is with us. Oh, yes. Lupine wants to try the beanie from the Faraday beanie is amazing from the satellite phone store. Well, because I asked you guys, Lupine wanted me to read my list, my batshit crazy demonic themes behind Elon Musk. And I made a list. It was just, I was doing my show prep yesterday. And I'm like, I just have to get all of this down and like on one piece of paper. What are your thoughts on Elon, Annie?
Oh boy. Okay.
A lot.
The day he bought X, I went live on my show and I pretty much told everybody, don't get all excited. This guy is not who you think he is. He's not. I have been anti-Elon Musk from day one when he purchased X. I have my proof. literally a screenshot proof of posting something, and something very simple. It wasn't even against him. Now, my problem with Elon Musk, number one, lying is his second nature. He contradicts himself based on the scenario and situation. Number two, he extremely is a Islamic apologist. He has allowed pages such as IRGC, leaders of Iran, Hamas members to have X accounts without shutting him down. More than 12,000 Iranians have reported IRGC posts and pages, and their pages are still up and running. So that's clearly my second problem with him. But by
the way, guys, Annie is, escaped from Sharia law, fundamentalist Islam, came to America when she was 18. How many fatwas do you have on your head, Annie?
12
fatwas from radicalized Islamic terror organizations. And so when she speaks about this, she has some skin in the game here on this, just so that you can understand part of her background. But, go ahead.
Well, we should add that part of those 12 is not just from the Islamic groups. It's also from the Islamic Republic of Iran's government. The supreme leader himself has put a judgment on my head. I make a joke of soon my head will be a $1 million baby.
Oh,
but we're not there yet.
No.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yes, Elon Musk.
And this is because of your speech. You speak out against Sharia and radical, fundamental Islam and Islamic terror. And you've been very consistent with your experience. She was raped as a child, sold into marriage as a child. Her grandmother smuggled her out of Iran. When she was 15 years old, she made her way to the United States of America and has spoken out. She has a right to her voice, and her beliefs about this idea that you're threatened by that is just horrifying, Annie. But, it is frustrating, to watch Elon kind of bolster this type of stuff.
Yes. And that's the thing. Elon's bottom line is money. Okay. This guy is greedy beyond what we would think. You would say the guy's got billions. Not enough. Okay. Yeah. He wants to be the richest man on the planet. Then he'd be happy. Until then, he'll take checks from Iran. He'll take checks from Russia. He'll take checks from China. He'll take checks from our government until he gets there. But most recently, my biggest flip on Elon Musk has been pretty much, not most recent, but a few months ago, he released a video of the robot he was testing and pretty much told people soon, you all have access to this robot. I'm old school, Shannon. Now, don't get me wrong. I use ChatGPT AI because I think I need to know my enemy. In my industry, AI is my enemy. It's coming to take over my job. So I learned it. I mastered it. However, I don't want to have a, robot husband, boyfriend, teacher, friend. No. I don't want that. I like, yesterday you closed your show by saying, I want to see everybody at the summit. And I'm a hugger. I want to hug you. I'm not a hugger, but those I love, I like to hug them and squeeze them. And they're like, okay, you're suffocating me. I can't do that with a robot. Okay, so back off Elon Musk or anybody else who thinks that's a good idea.
There is something very cold and anti-human about the Neuralink, which is his brain chip corporation, the robotization of everything. And if you really study technocracy, which is his religion, this is what he worships, or the devil. I don't know. With the demonic themes, we don't know what it is. We'll do the list. It is all about man mastering the universe and becoming gods themselves. They liken themselves as gods. They want to live forever. They think that they can interface, plug into the system. They want us plugged into the system. Massive surveillance, no human rights, no privacy, total control, all AI. It's very, very creepy. It's creepy That's the problem. So on the batshit crazy demonic things, we'll go through, because in all of my research, I mean, there are big reasons to oppose Elon Musk, like basic, like the conflicts of interest with Doge are insane. His access to power is insane. It's unethical, illegal, immoral, unconstitutional. He is still running his corporations. He has, information now on his competitors, on the markets, on donor lists, on the government. It's outrageous, the amount of power that he is amassing. And so this is why, this is the core of my opposition. But he is also just weird. Okay. And the demonic themes are just strange. He has 11 children, fathered with 3 wives. The one that he carts around as a prop is named X. I don't know who names their child X. He's a government welfare queen. He's gotten billions from the federal government, 500 million more from, for Tesla purchases in 2025. He's a self-admitted chronic drug user who had an intervention from other tech bros as early or as late as 2022 or 2023, has admitted to using ketamine, pot, LSD, cocaine, famously got high with Joe Rogan as they talked about how the answer to everything is a carbon credit. So he is pro carbon credit. Common themes like demonic themes, the Baphomet suit that he wore to Halloween last year, and he kept it on his profile for many, many, many months. He wears demonic symbolism. On the back of his jacket, there was a demonic statement written in Latin. He is the richest person in the world, by the way, Annie. Massive amounts of porn on Twitter. Okay. His father was Errol. His grandfather was Joshua Haldeman, the founder of the technocracy cult, and ran it from 1936 into 41. This is like clearly man is God. The key core of technocracy is that they become gods. They liken themselves as gods or demigods. His father was a wacko, Errol Musk. The parents of Errol Musk were open Nazis. Errol had sex with his ex-wife's daughter and impregnated her twice, despite a 42-year-old age difference. So we have Woody Allen vibes here. He is pro-eugenics, which is highly demonic. And he is pro-carbon tax. He is pro-global warming, pro-sustainable development. Absolutely a transhumanist. Wants to replace humans with robots. His mother, Mae Musk, is, the pictures of her have heavy, heavy, heavy demonic vibes. He does all the hand signals. I'm not even going to do the hand signals because someone will get a picture of me doing it and then they'll be like, Shannon's in the Illuminati, right? But all kinds. Very close with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, tons of ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Business ties. His brother dated one of the girls that Jeffrey Epstein was believed to have been trafficked. Whitney Webb did a 2-part, there are 2 full pages in her research of the extensive ties between Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein. His mom, Mae Musk, people believe she's a witch. There is a story from his babysitter, an interview from Elon's babysitter from years ago that'll just blow your mind. Just look up, Google Elon Musk and babysitter story. And she tells about him, like satanic ritual practices by, his mother, and opening portals. And the whole thing is just freaking bizarre. Okay. I don't even it's crazy. And his mother, Mae, was also on the cover of the occult issue of Femme magazine with like horns coming out of her head, like demonic goat-looking horns. It's just crazy. And in some ways, I think he's going mad. If you watch his interviews, he's a little bit. I don't know. There's something so off with this guy. His stature, his demeanor, the way he muddles his words in some ways. Like it seems like he's on something constantly. That is my takeaway from this. And that's just, that's my list.
Well, but you know what's so interesting for me, Shannon? how forgiving the right is.
Weird. Yes.
They will listen to your list and they will say absolutely accurate, but he bought X and freed us from censorship, which by the way, it's a lie. I am heavily shadow banned on X, and I mean
So am I.
heavily.
Yep, me too.
But those who were set free, let's say, I don't know, Steve Bannon got his account back, Trump got his account back. To them, oh, Elon is everything you just said, but he saved me. Therefore, I will forgive all of that. I will never talk about it again, even if it's an ongoing situation. They are extremely forgiving when it comes to their benefit. But the projection on a stream or alternative media is the left is the one who's holding a grudge. Really? Are they?
It's so crazy. We're getting no reporting from the right on just all of the conflicts of interest. It's right in our face. It is like straight up fascism, pay to play, the merging of government and corporation right in front of our faces. He's going to get all of these contracts. You guys realize this, right? He is getting rid of human government and the bureaucracy and replacing it with systems that he is invested in. AI that he is invested in. He is already the world's richest man. I cannot believe Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, I think it's hero syndrome. I think that people like emotionally imprint on people who they think save them. And so there's this strong emotional bond. He's just so weird. Someone said he glitches. He's so weird.
I really believe he's done some sort of procedure in his own brain. I really believe it. You go back, watch him. Over the years, he has become more what I would call robotic.
Yes.
As you said, lack of human emotion, lack of human like when he's talking, I have noticed like same thing with Larry Ellison. Have you noticed they barely blink?
They're so weird. They're so weird. Listen to this. LT Oracle of Truth. I saw an interview of May Musk, his mother, and the interviewer asked her if Elon was the Antichrist, and she chuckled and said, no, but he will bring in the mark.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they're just like punking us. Like sometimes I get the sense that they do all the demonic signaling and all the blatant demonic hand signals because they want us to freak out, right? They want to punk us. And it's, maybe it's just to kind of play with people who are into that kind of stuff, but it's just so weird. It's just so weird.
It is.
It may have to affect maybe a demon thing. Yeah. I mean, the guy is strange.
And if you don't mind me preaching for a minute, I try not to do this normally, but me and you talked about this yesterday before you started your show. It's like, everybody wants to belong and everybody wants to be part of a club. Now, it's funny that the main reason the country is so divided is because there are only two cool clubs, right? There's the Trump club and then there is the leftist club. That's it. Other than that, your club doesn't matter. But all of those who come out, you go on their social media, they're posting some sort of biblical verses every night and they're asking for prayer and they have a nice cross in the sundown cover photo. Every single one of these are okay, absolutely okay. When it comes to, I have had discussions with Christians. I'm like, how are you okay with everything Elon Musk stands for? And you know what their answer is, Shannon? Who am I to judge?
Oh my gosh.
Huh?
I'll judge. When you're coming at me, here's the thing about billionaires. I don't care about billionaires. I don't care about your yachts and your hookers and whatever it is that you do with your billionaire self. Okay. I don't care. Keep it in your lane. When you come in my lane and you try to shove my kid full of mRNA, I have a problem with you. It's not that I'm mad that you're a billionaire, right? Like they're coming after our freedom. They're coming after our liberty and privacy. They want to surveil everything. Not okay with me.
Oh, I have a problem with them being a billionaire because they became billionaires by ripping us from our humanity, our intelligence, our normal life. That's how they built their fortune. So I actually do have a problem with them being billionaires.
Yeah. I think they're criminals. I mean, I think we're dealing with a criminal cartel here. I mean, these people, and it's not so much that the government and these bureaucrats want to kill you. I think it's more that they just don't care if they do. Right. Like they don't, they're not out there like, hey, you know, twisting their mustache in like an evil tower. Maybe they are, who knows? They're so crazy. But, you know, plotting, you know, the depopulation of the planet or killing everyone. But I just don't think they care. I think they're so isolated from regular people that they just barrel through. And I think a lot of them have gone mad. I really do. I think that you get to a point with when you're, you know, you have so much money and you're so insulated and everyone wants something from you and no one's ever going to tell you the truth, that you go absolutely insane. And I think a lot of these, and this is why I say megalomaniac, control freak, lunatics in power, both political parties, like that is what I truly think that's what we're dealing with. These people are not all there. This is what power corrupts absolutely. This is why we have to devolve it. Right? Not more centralized, not more isolated, not more streamlined. No, I don't want a government maximalist. I want a government minimalist. I want it devolved to the local level. They're doing the exact opposite of this. And conservatives are cheering it. It's crazy. Blows your mind. Do you have videos for me, Annie?
I do. Yes. And here's the thing. This person is not normally in your discussion, but funny enough, interesting enough, Rothan Walker today on the comment section brought her name up. And I want to just give a quick background. I feel and felt about Tulsi Gabbard from day one the way I feel about Elon Musk. I don't trust her for a second. I don't think she's here because she got mad because she was mistreated by Democrats. No, that's my personal opinion. But another person who we both like very much, and I personally trust Trevor Loudon with his assessments because he's very well educated and he does a lot of research because before running his mouth. But I found this video. Let me play it and then see how you feel about what you just heard. Here we go.
NATO is not just a one-way street. America needs NATO. America needs Israel. America needs friends in the South Pacific like Australia and New Zealand. America needs friendships with India and Japan and Taiwan and South Korea. These are all necessary for American supply chains, for American ongoing security. But the Tulsi Gabbard types have used Americans' disgust with the misuse and the no-win of troops and no-win wars to actually push real isolation, real anti-NATO, anti-Israel, which is completely to the benefit of Russia and China and North Korea and Iran, all of which Tulsi has to some degree championed in her recent career.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. Tulsi Gabbard, you know, ex-Democrat, but I think that there are all types of agendas happening here, and you know, very interesting, very interesting. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so here's what's happening with. I was so happy to see this, but here's what's happening.
I love Trevor Loudon, by the way. Love Trevor Loudon.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard is flying under the radar right now after her confirmation. Why? Because everybody's paying attention to Kennedy. Of course, we're paying attention to Elon Musk. All of that is happening. But I said from day one of her nomination, I said, uh-oh, here goes another pretty face that fooled Trump to believe she's gonna side with him.
Right, right.
Tulsi's not gonna take orders from Trump. Tulsi's not here to save us all and secure our national security. Tulsi Gabbard is going, mark my words, this is crazy on popular opinion, but watch as she will be exposed within the next 2 to 3 years as someone who started leaking information to Iran and China and Russia. Mark my words.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not really following. Tulsi is one of the characters I haven't really followed very closely. So it's very interesting to hear your perspective on that. I am an isolationist at this point. I think that the entire world is completely effed up. We shouldn't be in Gaza. We shouldn't be in Ukraine. We shouldn't be in NATO. We should engage in trade with countries that share our values and that make sense for American, but we need to start manufacturing things here in America. We have to start drilling in America, having our own energy. We need to start making things here, get rid of regulations, get rid of all of the, massive amounts of taxation, reinvigorate the American free market, trade with our friends, and just be done with it. But right now, because they are pillaging and plundering, the U.S., they have to, in order to continue to justify the war machine and the military industrial conflict, they have to basically launder all their money. That's what they're doing, is laundering their money and all these needless wars. And they're going to continue, by the way. Ukraine, Trump announced yesterday that aid to Ukraine will continue. So he is right now brokering something with Russia and as part of BRICS. The foreign policy, I personally think that all of foreign policy right now is moving us toward the tariffs, the brokering with Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, taking Gaza, promoting the North American region, right? Like making Canada the 51st state and taking Greenland, and the whole bizarre, issue over the Gulf of America. So Trump won't let any media come into the press room if they don't refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. But again, all of this, though, leads in to the reshaping of the globe according to Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 in the Great Reset. It is the regionalization, no more nation states. We have these massive regions, the North American region and the East region, and they're all tethered together in a global governance with one currency, which will likely be electronic. So this is all moving us to the introduction of a new global digital currency with, Trump and Elon hope America at the helm. We have pressure from BRICS, but they're all going to eventually work together. And so I think that all of this, a lot of it is razzle dazzle. A lot of it is meant to distract us from what they're really doing, which is setting us up for the control grid. It is the digital currency that is trackable, traceable, and confiscatable, connected to a social credit scoring system that will play very nicely with China's WeChat, right? Like once the bureaucrats and technocrats get a hold of everything, then we're not really American citizens anymore. We're citizens of the world. We're run by AI. We have no rights. Our Constitution is in shreds. And, that's the way they want it. So, I tend to look at every foreign conflict in that perspective. And I do think that we are way too, this whole like we give Israel anything they want at any time to wage any war for any reason, I just think is crazy. Yeah.
Agreed. And because we are very much out of time, I'm just going to say one sentence, put you back on the screen so you can close the show. And as a human rights activist who's been doing my activities for over 12 years, I believe we are all equal as humans created by God. However, I also believe without borders, there is chaos. So
absolutely,
watch out for the border, stay very vigilant, question everything. I'm going to step into my producer room now, Shannon, and let you wrap up the show.
Hey, I appreciate you. Annie Cyrus, the producer of the Shannon Joy Show. We don't often get to chat with Annie, and she has a lot of ideas and a lot of opinions herself, and she also hosts a show, so check her out. Yes, I think that the borders are something we have to keep an eye on. In fact, Michael Yon texted me yesterday, and he's at one of the processing centers down across the border in the South, and Darien Gap area. And he's saying that all of the big international players are still there. They're the ones facilitating the migration into the U.S., the illegal immigration into the U.S. And he's saying that it's not slowing down at all. So there's a lot of talk about closing the border, but we still really haven't seen any action yet. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And Annie's absolutely right. We need our borders, right? We are not part of the North American Union or the northern region. We are American. We have a constitution, and we need to maintain that. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this. Thank you so much, Annie, for producing the show. Thank you to all of you for being with us on the Shannon Joy Show today. Have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Valentine's Day. Vidana, thank you so much. CJP Rumble, the Gulf of Warp Speed. That is such a bizarre, definitely a language. There's a language and censorship psyop happening there where Trump really wants these reporters to say Gulf of America. And they really don't want to say Gulf of America. They want to say Gulf of Mexico. And it's like just crazy. Rothen Walker, thank you so much. Buskman, thank you so much for your comments. You guys are amazing. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.